Picture standing at the edge of an infinite void, staring into the abyss of space where stars flicker like distant, dying embers. The silence is absolute, no sound, no echo, just an endless stretch of darkness that swallows light and time itself. This is the universe as we know it, breathtaking, mysterious, and hiding secrets so unsettling they could rewrite everything we think we understand. Beneath its shimmering beauty lies a reality far stranger and far more terrifying than any science fiction. What if the cosmos isn't just empty? What if it's watching, waiting, or worse, what if we're not alone in ways we can't even comprehend? From the moment humans first looked up at the night sky, we've sensed something lurking beyond the stars, something ancient, something unknowable. Scientists call them theories, but they feel more like warnings, whispers of black holes that could erase existence in an instant, hints of parallel dimensions where versions of us make choices we never did. The spine-chilling possibility that our entire universe is nothing more than a simulation, a cosmic experiment run by beings we'll never see. These aren't just ideas, they're pieces of a puzzle that, when put together, reveal a picture so unsettling it might keep you awake at night. That's why we're diving deep into 25 of the most haunting theories about the universe, concepts that blur the line between science and nightmare. Each one peels back another layer of reality, exposing truths so bizarre they challenge the very fabric of what we call normal. By the end of this journey, you'll see the night sky differently. Those twinkling lights won't just be stars, they'll be question marks, each one hiding a mystery waiting to unravel. So take a breath, steady your nerves, and prepare to confront the eerie, the uncanny, and the downright terrifying. The universe has been keeping secrets, and it's time they came to light. What if everything you think you know, your memories, your experiences, even the world around you, wasn't real? Not in the way we understand reality, at least. This is the spine-tingling premise of the Boltzmann Brain, a theory so bizarre it makes the average sci-fi plot seem tame. Imagine the universe as an infinite sea of chaos, where particles collide and arrange themselves randomly. Most of the time, these collisions produce nothing meaningful. But given enough time, and we're talking trillions upon trillions of years, the impossible becomes inevitable. A fully formed, self-aware consciousness could blink into existence, complete with fabricated memories of a life that never happened. This isn't just wild speculation. It comes from legitimate physics rooted in the work of Ludwig Boltzmann, a scientist who studied how disorder and randomness shape the cosmos. If the universe tends toward chaos over time, then statistically, the most likely outcome isn't a stable, orderly existence, it's fleeting moments of structure, like a single brain materializing out of nothingness, convinced it's lived a full life before dissolving back into the void. The terrifying implication: you could be that brain right now. Every person you've ever met, every place you've visited, might be an elaborate illusion conjured by randomness. Even the idea of a universe billions of years old could be a fiction your mind created to make sense of its own sudden, temporary existence. Scientists don't dismiss this lightly. It's a genuine puzzle in cosmology, forcing us to question whether the laws of physics we trust actually lead to conclusions this unsettling. And here's the real kicker. The math suggests Boltzmann brains should be far more common than stable, long-lived universes like ours. So why does reality feel so solid? Either we're impossibly lucky or we're not what we think we are. The cosmos might be playing a trick on us, and the joke's darker than we dare admit. Ever woken up from a dream so vivid, so real, that for a few seconds you couldn't tell what was actual and what was imagined? Now take that feeling and stretch it across your entire existence, because according to the simulation hypothesis, that's exactly what our universe might be: an impossibly advanced simulation running on some unfathomable alien supercomputer. This isn't just the plot of a sci-fi movie. Heavyweights like Elon Musk and philosopher Nick Bostrom argue it's not only possible but statistically likely. Think about it. If civilizations eventually develop the power to create hyper-realistic simulations of their ancestors, and they run millions of them, the odds that we're in the original reality start to look vanishingly small. But how would we even know? Some theorists point to tiny, unexplained glitches in reality, moments where the fabric of existence seems to stutter. Ever experienced déjà vu so strong it felt like the universe briefly buffered? Or seen objects defy physics in ways that make you question your own eyes? These could be programming errors, little cracks in the simulation's code. Even the famous double-slit experiment in quantum mechanics, where particles behave differently when observed, has been called potential evidence. If reality renders only when we look at it, like a video game optimizing graphics to save processing power, what does that say about the world when we're not watching? And then there's the Fermi paradox, the eerie silence of the cosmos. If the universe is teeming with life, why haven't we heard a peep? One unsettling answer: because the simulation's creators didn't bother programming other civilizations. We might be alone because we're meant to be alone. Every star, every galaxy could just be background decoration to keep us from noticing the walls of our cosmic cage. The most chilling part: there's no way to disprove it. If the simulation is flawless, we'd never find definitive proof. It's a theory that lingers like a shadow, making you wonder if the hand you're holding up right now is flesh and blood or just lines of code. Maybe ignorance really is bliss, or maybe the truth is waiting locked in a glitch we haven't found yet. We think of the universe as stable, permanent, a cosmic stage where the laws of physics never change. But what if that stage could collapse beneath our feet without warning? Enter the false vacuum collapse, a theory so catastrophic it makes black holes look friendly. Picture the fabric of reality as a valley, with our universe sitting comfortably at the bottom, what scientists call a true vacuum. But somewhere beyond that valley lies a deeper, deadlier drop. If even a single quantum fluctuation nudges reality over that edge, a bubble of pure destruction could form, expanding at the speed of light, rewriting physics itself as it spreads. Inside this bubble, the rules we rely on, gravity, light, even the structure of atoms, would cease to exist. Matter might unravel instantly, stars winking out like candles in a hurricane. And we wouldn't see it coming. By the time the wave reached us, it would already be too late. The collapse's leading edge moves so fast that the first sign of doom would be the universe itself disintegrating around us. The eerie part: this isn't science fiction. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Sidney Coleman calculated that our vacuum might not be perfectly stable, just metastable, like a pencil balanced on its tip, waiting for the slightest push to topple. Some researchers even speculate it could have happened already in distant corners of the cosmos. If another region of space collapsed into this lower energy state, its wave of annihilation might already be racing toward us, invisible across the vast darkness. The only comfort: the universe is so enormous that it could take billions of years to reach us, or it could arrive tomorrow. Because here's the chilling catch: the trigger could be entirely random. A single quantum event, unpredictable and unstoppable, might be all it takes to erase existence as we know it. And if that bubble forms, there's no fighting it, no escaping it. The very laws that let us build rockets or ponder the cosmos would vanish mid-thought. One moment the universe, the next an alien physics we can't begin to comprehend. It's the ultimate cosmic reset button, and we'd never hear it click. The silence of the cosmos isn't just puzzling, it's unnerving. With billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars, the universe should be buzzing with civilizations. So where is everyone? One answer sends chills down the spine: the Great Filter. This isn't just a barrier to spacefaring life, it's a cosmic guillotine, a catastrophe so absolute it wipes out intelligent species before they can leave their mark on the galaxy. The question isn't whether the filter exists, it's whether we've already slipped past it, or if it's waiting for us just ahead. Imagine a deadly obstacle course, but instead of walls and traps, it's a series of existential threats. Some filters are natural asteroids, supervolcanoes, or gamma-ray bursts that sterilize planets. Others might be self-inflicted, nuclear war, runaway AI, or ecological collapse. The terrifying possibility: every civilization that reaches our level of technology hits a wall they can't overcome. The universe might be littered with the ruins of cultures that burn too bright too fast. But here's the twist: if the filter is behind us, we got lucky. Maybe life itself is astronomically rare, or intelligence is a fluke. That would mean the cosmos is empty because we're the first or the only. It's a comforting thought until you consider the alternative. If the filter is still ahead, we're not pioneers, we're doomed. Every radio signal we've sent, every satellite we've launched, could be the last gasp of a species playing with fire before it gets consumed. Astrobiologists point to ominous clues. On Earth, complex life took billions of years to emerge, a sign that even simple steps toward intelligence might be freakishly unlikely. Meanwhile, our own technological adolescence feels precarious. One misstep with artificial superintelligence or bioengineering could trigger extinction. Even if we survive ourselves, the universe might have darker surprises: vacuum decay, predatory alien tech, or some existential landmine we haven't even imagined yet. The Great Filter doesn't just explain the silence, it makes the stars feel like tombstones. Each one could represent a civilization that failed, a warning written in the emptiness. So when we gaze up at the night sky, we're left with a harrowing question. Are we the exception or just another name on the list? Imagine the universe not as a vibrant community of alien civilizations, but as a pitch-black forest teeming with hidden predators, each holding its breath, terrified to make a sound. This is the dark forest hypothesis, a chilling answer to Fermi's paradox that turns our search for extraterrestrial friends into a nightmare of cosmic paranoia. Inspired by Liu Cixin's sci-fi masterpiece The Three-Body Problem, the theory suggests a simple, brutal truth: silence isn't strange, it's survival. Think of it like this. In a dark forest, any creature that reveals itself risks attracting something far worse: a hunter with superior firepower. The same logic might govern advanced civilizations. Broadcasting our location with radio signals or probes could be like shouting into the void, inviting annihilation from a species that sees us as a future threat. The universe isn't empty because life is rare. It's empty because every civilization that was loud isn't around anymore. Real-world scientists grapple with this unsettling idea. SETI researchers debate whether actively messaging aliens is reckless optimism or pure folly. Even Stephen Hawking warned that contacting advanced extraterrestrials could mirror Native Americans encountering Columbus, an event that did not end well for one side. The dark forest takes this further. What if every civilization assumes the worst? Silence becomes the only safe strategy, a universal game of hide and seek where losing means extinction. Evidence lurks in the eerie quiet of deep space. Despite decades of listening, we've caught no traces of alien engineering, no Dyson spheres, no city-sized spacecraft. Maybe they're all deliberately dormant, masking their heat signatures and radio leaks to avoid detection. Some astronomers even propose that gamma-ray bursts, often dismissed as natural phenomena, could be targeted strikes, cosmic snipers picking off upstart civilizations before they grow too powerful. The darkest twist: this theory might explain why we've never found traces of galactic empires. The most successful species aren't the conquerors, they're the ones who mastered invisibility. If that's true, then every time we beam a message skyward, we're rolling dice loaded against us. The forest is watching, and in the silence between the stars, something might already be taking aim. What if every time you brushed against death, another version of you kept living without you even realizing it? Quantum immortality takes the weirdness of Schrödinger's famous cat and turns it into a personal nightmare. You remember the thought experiment. A cat in a box is both alive and dead until someone opens it and collapses the quantum possibilities into one reality. Now imagine you're the cat. Every time you face mortal danger, a car crash, a falling piano, a terminal illness, your consciousness doesn't experience death. Instead, it splits off into a universe where you narrowly survive while another version of you ceases to exist. This isn't just philosophical wordplay. It's a brutal consequence of the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, where every possible outcome spawns a new reality. From your perspective, you'd always find yourself in the timeline where you didn't die, no matter how improbable the escape. A bullet misses by a millimeter. A heart attack is miraculously reversed. You'd rack up increasingly absurd near-death scenarios, watching the world around you twist to keep you alive while countless other versions of you perish silently. Near-death experiences take on a sinister new light under this theory. Those who report floating above their bodies or seeing tunnels of light might not be glimpsing the afterlife. They could be catching echoes of universes where they didn't make it. The most unsettling part, you'd never know. If quantum immortality is real, every person reading this is the luckiest version of themselves, having cheated death in ways they can't remember. The alternative timelines, where accidents or illnesses played out differently, are erased from your perception like deleted files. Scientists grapple with the implications. If consciousness follows the path of survival, does that mean we're all trapped in a subjective bubble of improbability? Could a 90-year-old in one universe be a 200-year-old in another, simply because their timeline kept bending to avoid the end? The theory forces us to confront a haunting question. Are we truly alive because life favors us or because the dead can't testify? Black holes aren't just cosmic vacuum cleaners. They're time bombs lurking in the darkness with the power to unravel reality itself. And while we often picture them as distant monsters, the truth is far more unsettling. They could be closer than we think, invisible and drifting, waiting to rewrite our fate. Imagine a rogue black hole, one that slipped its gravitational leash and now wanders the galaxy unseen. It doesn't glow, it doesn't announce itself, it just hungers. And if one found its way into our solar system, the end wouldn't come with a bang or even a scream. It would come with a stretch. Spaghettification, the gruesome process where gravity's tidal forces pull objects into noodle-thin strands, is just the beginning. As Earth neared the event horizon, the difference in gravity between your head and feet would escalate violently. Bones would snap, oceans would rise into monstrous tendrils torn from the planet's surface. The sky itself would warp, bending light into a swirling nightmare as time slowed to a crawl. By the time our planet crossed the point of no return, it wouldn't even resemble Earth anymore. Just a stream of atoms stretched infinitely thin, joining the black hole's silent feast. But what if we avoid a rogue visitor? The universe might still have a grim finale in store. Stephen Hawking theorized that black holes aren't eternal. Over incomprehensible eons, they leak radiation, slowly evaporating until they vanish in a final burst of energy. In a far distant future, long after the last stars burn out, black holes could be the only structures left, a graveyard of collapsing giants. And as they too blink away, the cosmos would enter its bleakest phase, a cold, empty expanse where not even light remains. No planets, no life, just the faint afterglow of Hawking radiation, the last whisper of a universe that once was. The chilling part, this isn't speculation, it's physics. Black holes will evaporate, the universe will grow cold. The only question is whether we'll be around to see it, or if a wandering abyss finds us first. Either way, the end isn't pretty. It's a slow unraveling, a cosmic fade to black, and in that darkness, even time itself might lose all meaning. The universe is dying, but how it ends depends on which nightmare you find more terrifying, a catastrophic collapse or an endless frozen silence. On one side, the Big Crunch looms like a cosmic boomerang. Imagine gravity finally overcoming the expansion of the universe, pulling galaxies back together in a reverse of the Big Bang. At first, it would seem almost beautiful, stars drawing closer, constellations merging into blazing clusters, but as space contracts, temperatures soar. Planets are cooked alive in their atmospheres. Galaxies collide in apocalyptic fireworks, their stars ripped apart by tidal forces, the final moments. A singularity hotter than anything since creation itself, crushing all matter into a single, infinitely dense point. It's the universe eating its own tail, leaving no trace that anything ever existed. Then there's the alternative, heat death. No fire, no explosion, just an inexorable slide into absolute zero. As the universe expands forever, stars burn out one by one. Black holes evaporate into faint whispers of radiation. Eventually, even protons decay, reducing every atom in existence to lifeless subatomic dust. Time stretches into meaningless eternity with no light, no heat, no change. It's not an end so much as a fading like a candle flame guttering out in an infinite void, leaving only darkness so complete that not even memories remain. Scientists debate which scenario is more likely. Current evidence suggests the universe is expanding faster, tipping the scales toward heat death. But dark energy, the mysterious force accelerating that expansion, could still surprise us. If it weakens or reverses, the crunch might still be waiting in the far future. Both outcomes share one chilling truth. Everything we know, every story ever told, every achievement of civilization will vanish as if it never was. So which is worse, the violent, screaming end of the Big Crunch or the slow, silent erasure of heat death? One is over in an instant, the other drags on for eternity. Both force us to confront the same unsettling realization. The universe doesn't care about endings. It simply moves on, leaving us to wonder whether a fiery finale or an infinite freeze is the more merciful fate. History books tell us the year is 2024, but what if the calendar is lying? The phantom time hypothesis dares to suggest that 300 years never actually happened. That we're not living in the 21st century, but trapped in an elaborate fiction, with the real year closer to the 1700s. This isn't just some tinfoil hat conspiracy. It's a full-blown assault on our understanding of time itself, backed by eerie gaps in records and architectural mysteries that don't quite add up. Take Charlemagne, the legendary ruler crowned Holy Roman Emperor in the year 800. Proponents of this theory argue his entire reign is suspiciously thin on verified documentation, as if scribes were filling in blanks centuries later. Entire dynasties, wars, and cultural movements from the so-called Dark Ages might be pure invention inserted into history by medieval powers with something to hide. Even the Gregorian calendar reform in 1582 raises eyebrows. Why such a drastic reset unless there were missing years to cover up? Then there's the architecture. Ever noticed how certain European cathedrals seem to leap centuries ahead in style overnight? The phantom time theorists claim this isn't evolution, it's evidence of a missing epoch. Buildings supposedly separated by hundreds of years share nearly identical construction techniques, as if the timeline was compressed. And what about dendrochronology, the science of tree ring dating? Some ancient wood samples don't align perfectly with our historical records, leaving unexplained gaps that fuel the fire. But here's the most chilling twist. If this theory is true, every artifact, every document proving those 3 centuries existed could be part of the cover-up. The implications are staggering. Who had the power to rewrite history on such a scale? The Catholic Church, a lost civilization. And why? Maybe to control narratives, erase rivals, or hide some cataclysmic truth too dangerous to acknowledge. Of course, mainstream historians dismiss this as fantasy, pointing to carbon dating and astronomical records that seemingly confirm the timeline. but the phantom time hypothesis lingers like a shadow, whispering that our past might be a carefully crafted illusion. After all, history is written by the victors, and what if the victors weren't just biased but outright fabricators? The next time you glance at a calendar, ask yourself whose hands really set the clock. You've sworn your whole life it was spelled Berenstein Bears, but the books say Berenstain. You know Sinbad starred in a genie movie called Shazam, except he never did. These aren't just mix-ups, they're examples of the Mandela Effect, a phenomenon where thousands of people share identical false memories of events that supposedly never happened. Named after the widespread belief that Nelson Mandela died in prison during the 80s, when he actually lived until 2013, this eerie pattern has spawned a spine-chilling theory. What if these false memories are actually glimpses into parallel realities? Think about it like a cosmic game of telephone. In one universe, maybe the Berenstein Bears was the correct spelling, and in another, it was always Berenstain. When realities brush against each other, some of us might retain traces of those alternate timelines, creating collective déjà vu on a massive scale. The more people report the same discrepancy, like Darth Vader's "Luke, I am your father," he never says Luke, or the Monopoly Man's monocle, he doesn't have one, the harder it is to dismiss as simple forgetfulness. Even Snow White's famous "Mirror, mirror on the wall" line is misquoted. The actual Disney dialogue is "magic mirror." So why do so many of us remember it wrong? Some researchers suggest quantum entanglement could play a role. If particles can link across dimensions, maybe human consciousness does too, leaking memories between versions of ourselves in neighboring universes. Others propose it's a glitch in our neural wiring, a quirk of how the brain stores cultural touchstones. But the creepiest explanation, that we're somehow hopping between realities without realizing it, leaving behind subtle inconsistencies like breadcrumbs. Online communities obsessively catalog these anomalies. The Fruit of the Loom logo never had a cornucopia, or did it? Looney Tunes wasn't tunes. Even geographic shifts get reported, like South America being farther east than people recall. The sheer volume of these shared false memories raises a haunting question. If our minds can't be trusted, what can? Maybe reality isn't as fixed as we think. Maybe somewhere out there, another version of you did watch Sinbad play a genie and is just as confused that you didn't. We might not be alone in the universe, we might be under surveillance. The zoo hypothesis suggests Earth isn't just another planet. It's a cosmic terrarium with advanced civilizations observing us from the shadows, like scientists studying ants through glass. This isn't just paranoia. The eerie silence of the cosmos suddenly makes sense if we're deliberately isolated, our development monitored under some interstellar prime directive. UFO sightings, those could be accidental glimpses of the observer's slips in their otherwise flawless containment. Think of it like the Sentinelese tribe on North Sentinel Island, cut off from modern society for their own protection and ours. What if humanity is the Sentinelese of the galaxy? Advanced aliens might see us as too primitive, too volatile, to integrate into a wider cosmic community. Dropping a spaceship into our midst could be like handing a grenade to a caveman. The consequences could shatter civilizations, so they keep their distance, watching our wars, our art, our stumbling steps into space, all while maintaining radio silence to avoid contamination. The most unsettling part, we might never know. A truly advanced species could have surveillance tech so sophisticated it's indistinguishable from nature. Strange lights in the sky, atmospheric phenomena, crop circles, natural formations, even our own government's classified UFO footage might just be catching the equivalent of lab equipment, drones or probes accidentally flickering into visibility before vanishing again. But why would they bother? Some theorists suggest Earth is a preserve, a living museum of early intelligence. Others argue we're an experiment, testing how civilizations evolve under controlled isolation. The darkest possibility: we're being evaluated like a test subject before some cosmic judgment day. If we destroy ourselves, we prove we weren't worthy of contact. But if we survive our self-destructive phases, nuclear war, climate collapse, maybe one day the quarantine lifts and we finally meet the zookeepers. Until then, the stars might not be silent. They could be crowded with observers, all holding their breath, watching to see if humanity passes the test, or if we'll just be another failed entry in some alien lab report. What if the universe isn't a one-time event, but a broken record stuck on replay? The time loop theory turns cosmology into a cosmic déjà vu, suggesting the Big Bang wasn't the beginning, just the latest reset in an endless cycle of collapse and rebirth. Picture a cosmic heartbeat, each pulse a new universe expanding from the ashes of the last. The evidence: it might be written in the very fabric of space itself. Scientists studying the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, have spotted eerie, repeating patterns in this primordial radiation. Like a fingerprint smudged across multiple copies, these anomalies hint at something unsettling. Our universe might bear scars from a previous iteration. Some models even suggest that black holes, those gravitational monsters lurking in galaxies, could be time capsules packed with compressed information from past cosmic cycles, waiting to be unpacked in the next. The mathematics behind this is mind-bending. Imagine the universe's expansion slowing, reversing, and collapsing back into a singularity, only to rebound in another explosive birth. Each cycle could tweak the fundamental constants, explaining why our universe seems so perfectly tuned for life. Maybe we're not lucky. Maybe this is version 1 million, with countless failed attempts erased in previous crunches. But what about entropy? Normally, disorder increases over time, making infinite cycles seem impossible. Yet some theorists propose that black holes act as cosmic recyclers, swallowing entropy and resetting the clock with each new bang. Others argue that quantum fluctuations could scramble the deck with each rebirth, ensuring no two universes are identical, the most haunting implication. If this theory holds, everything, every star, every civilization, every moment of joy or pain has happened before, and it will happen again. The atoms in your body might have been part of infinite versions of you, living and dying across cycles we can't remember. It's not just history repeating itself. It's existence itself trapped in a loop with no way to know if we're the first iteration or the trillionth. Maybe that's why the night sky feels so familiar, not because we've seen it before, but because somewhere in another cosmic cycle we already have. The world around you, the coffee in your cup, the screen in front of your eyes, even the air filling your lungs might not be as three-dimensional as it seems. According to the holographic principle, everything we perceive could be nothing more than a breathtakingly complex projection from a two-dimensional surface at the edge of the universe. Picture reality as a cosmic DVD. The vivid, three-dimensional movie you're watching doesn't actually exist inside your TV. It's all encoded on a flat disk. Now apply that to the entire cosmos. The trees, the stars, even your own thoughts could be shadows cast by information etched onto some unfathomably distant boundary. This isn't just sci-fi speculation. The math checks out. When scientists studied black holes, those gravitational traps where not even light escapes, they stumbled onto a paradox. If you toss an encyclopedia into a black hole, the information inside should vanish forever, violating quantum mechanics' ironclad rule that information can't be destroyed. But what if it's not lost? What if that data gets imprinted onto the black hole's event horizon, the point of no return, like a cosmic hard drive? Leonard Susskind and Gerard T. Hooft theorized that every particle swallowed might leave a bit of itself behind, encoded in Planck-sized pixels on the horizon's surface. Here's where it gets surreal. If a black hole can store a 3D universe's worth of information on its 2D surface, maybe our entire reality does the same. The universe could be a hologram with every event, every law of physics, just a translation of data written on some distant, flat canvas. Even your memories, the taste of your first kiss, the sound of rain on a childhood roof, might be projections of information flickering at the edge of existence. The eerie proof: scientists studying the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, found faint, holographic noise in the data, as if the universe's pixels were subtly visible under extreme magnification. If true, this upends everything. Time, space, even consciousness could be side effects of a deeper, flatter reality we'll never see. You're not just living in the universe, you're a character in its projection, a ripple on the surface of something far stranger. And the scariest part, we might never know what's casting the shadow. Black holes are cosmic devourers, swallowing everything that crosses their event horizon, even light itself. But what if death by black hole isn't the end? What if it's a birth? The white hole paradox flips the script, suggesting that when a black hole dies, it doesn't just vanish. It erupts. Imagine a reverse Big Bang, a cataclysmic explosion of matter, energy, and space-time itself, birthing an entirely new universe inside the corpse of the old one. This isn't science fiction. It's a legitimate mathematical possibility, one that turns our understanding of reality inside out. Think of a black hole's life cycle like a cosmic recycling plant. As it devours stars and gas, all that compressed information doesn't disappear. According to quantum mechanics, it has to go somewhere. Enter the white hole, a theoretical exit wound, spewing out everything the black hole consumed in a fiery rebirth. Some physicists speculate this eruption could be so violent, it doesn't just eject matter. It creates an entirely new space-time continuum with its own laws of physics, its own stars, its own potential for life. Our universe in this scenario might not be the first. It could be the afterlife of a black hole from a long-dead cosmos. The implications are staggering. If white holes exist, every black hole in our universe could be a cosmic womb, nurturing infant realities we'll never see. The Big Bang itself might have been the death throes of a black hole in another dimension, meaning we're literally living inside someone else's collapse. It's a domino effect of creation, an infinite nesting doll of universes, each birthed from the grave of another. Evidence is elusive. White holes, if they exist, would be fleeting, vanishing almost instantly under the weight of their own expansion. But some researchers point to bizarre gamma-ray bursts, unexplained flashes of energy that seem to come from nowhere, as potential white hole signatures. Others suggest dark matter could be the ash left behind by these cosmic resurrections, a shadow of the universe that birthed us. The most haunting question: if our universe came from a white hole, does that mean the cycle continues? Are we destined to collapse into our own black holes, each one a seed for a new reality we'll never witness? It's a dizzying thought. Every black hole could be a doorway, not to oblivion, but to a cosmos where the rules are different, where life might rise again under alien physics. We could be stardust, or we could be someone else's ghost. Quantum immortality already bent our perception of existence, but now imagine forcing the universe to prove it. That's the gut-churning premise of the quantum suicide experiment. A twisted blend of physics and philosophy that turns Schrödinger's cat into something far more personal and horrifying. Picture a modified machine gun pointed at your head, rigged to a quantum sensor. Each time you pull the trigger, the gun has a 50% chance of firing or not. In a single universe, this is Russian roulette with a gruesome, inevitable outcome. But if multiple worlds exist, the math gets dark. Here's how it works. Every trigger pull splits reality. In one branch, the gun fires and that version of you dies instantly. But in another, the gun jams and you survive. Repeat this enough times and statistically, you, the conscious observer, will always find yourself in the timeline where the gun miraculously fails. No matter how improbable the odds, your subjective experience locks you into the universe where you can't die, because the dead versions of you cease to exist from your perspective. It's immortality through sheer quantum stubbornness. Physicists like Max Tegmark argue this isn't just morbid hypotheticals, it's a legitimate challenge to how we interpret probability. If consciousness follows the path of survival, then from your viewpoint, you'd become a statistical anomaly, surviving 1,000 trigger pulls against all logic. The universe would seem to conspire to keep you alive, bending improbability like a cosmic cheat code. But before you get any ideas, do not try this. The experiment's theoretical foundation doesn't make it any less lethal in this reality. And here's the existential kicker: even if quantum immortality is real, it doesn't mean you win. The you reading this now might just be the latest in an endless chain of survivors, each one stepping over the corpses of their own alternate selves. Those other versions, they did die, you just never remember it. The takeaway isn't about testing fate, it's about questioning whether reality is as solid as we think. If a single particle's randomness can splinter timelines, how many versions of us have already been erased? And if consciousness is really this slippery, what else might we be wrong about? The gun isn't the scary part. It's realizing the universe might keep you alive, but only by killing you an infinite number of times. We like to think of empty space as just that, empty. But quantum physics paints a far more unsettling picture. The vacuum of space isn't blank. It's a simmering sea of potential energy, held in fragile balance by the precise tuning of the universe's fundamental forces. And if that balance were to break, reality itself could unravel in an expanding wave of annihilation. This is vacuum decay, the ultimate cosmic doomsday scenario, one where a single misaligned particle collision could rewrite the laws of physics forever. Let's break down how this nightmare works. Picture the universe's current state as a marble resting at the bottom of a bowl, what physicists call a false vacuum. It's stable enough, but there might be a deeper valley, a lower energy state that nature would prefer. If something nudges the marble over the rim, say a high-energy particle collision, it could trigger a chain reaction. A bubble of this new, more stable vacuum would form, expanding at light speed in all directions. Inside that bubble, the rules we rely on cease to exist. Atoms can't form, light can't travel. The very building blocks of matter would dissolve into something unrecognizable, rewriting reality as it spreads. Here's where the math gets terrifying. In 1982, physicist Sidney Coleman calculated that our vacuum isn't necessarily perfectly stable, just metastable, hanging in a precarious equilibrium. Some theories even suggest the Large Hadron Collider's particle smash-ups might, against unfathomable odds, be the nudge that sends the marble tumbling. The odds are astronomically low, but non-zero, and once the bubble starts, there's no stopping it. By the time we saw the wave coming, it would already be too late. Annihilation moving at light speed leaves no time for alarms or goodbyes. What makes vacuum decay uniquely horrifying isn't just the destruction, but the randomness. Unlike asteroids or supernovas, there's no trajectory to track, no early warning. It could be triggered tomorrow by a cosmic ray collision in deep space or in a lab experiment halfway around the world. And unlike black holes or asteroid impacts, there's no surviving it, no bunker deep enough, no technology advanced enough to outrun a law of physics rewrite. The universe wouldn't end with a bang or a whimper, but with a silent, all-consuming correction, as if existence itself had been a typo finally erased. Yet there's a strange irony here. If vacuum decay happened, we'd never know. One moment, physics as we understand it, the next, a new reality where concepts like moment or we might not even apply. It's the ultimate cosmic censorship, a death so total, it wouldn't even leave memories behind. Maybe that's the darkest twist of all. The universe's most final catastrophe might have already happened elsewhere, its lethal bubble racing toward us right now, invisible against the black. And by the time it casts a shadow, there'll be no one left to see it. What if the greatest threat from space isn't a hostile alien fleet or a rogue asteroid, but something so small it could slip unnoticed into our cells? The alien virus theory suggests that extraterrestrial microbes carried on comets, asteroids, or even interstellar dust might already be here, and they could rewrite life as we know it. Think of it like this: every time a meteorite crashes to Earth, it doesn't just bring rock. It could be smuggling biological stowaways, microorganisms evolved in the extreme environments of deep space, with survival strategies far beyond anything on our planet. These wouldn't be your typical germs. A virus from another world might not just make us sick, it could reprogram us. Scientists studying xenobiology warn that alien microbes could operate on entirely different biochemistry, hijacking our DNA like a hacker exploiting an outdated operating system. In the movie Arrival, the heptapod's language literally rewires human brains, but what if the real danger isn't alien words but alien code? A single microscopic invader might splice itself into our genetic material, turning our bodies into factories for its own replication. Imagine waking up one day to find your cells no longer obey you. They're following instructions written by something older than the Earth itself, and it's not just flesh and blood at risk. Artificial intelligence could be vulnerable too. NASA planetary protection protocols exist for a reason. If a Martian microbe infiltrated a Mars rover's circuitry, it might not just damage the machine. It could infect it, mutating the AI's programming into something unrecognizable. Researchers already simulate how alien life might interact with human tech, and the results are unsettling. A single self-replicating nanoscale contaminant could turn our greatest tools against us, transforming them into puppets for an intelligence we can't even comprehend. The chilling part: we might not recognize the invasion until it's too late. Unlike a spaceship, a virus doesn't announce its arrival. It could spread silently for decades, subtly altering behavior or physiology until humanity is no longer human. Some theorists even speculate that past mass extinctions weren't just climate events, they were cosmic infections wiping out species to make room for something new. And here's the darkest twist: we might already be carriers. Our genomes are littered with ancient viral DNA, remnants of battles our ancestors fought against pathogens millions of years ago. What if some of those sequences aren't from Earth at all? What if we're not the apex of evolution, but the incubators for something older, smarter, and waiting for the right moment to wake up? The universe doesn't need lasers or warships to conquer us. It just needs the right key, and we might already be holding the lock. What if the universe isn't just an accident of physics, but a cosmic mind dreaming itself into existence? This is the consciousness singularity theory, and it dissolves the line between observer and observed, suggesting reality itself might be a thought inside something far grander. Think of it like a lucid dream where the dreamer and the dream are one and the same. Only in this case, the dreamer is the entire cosmos, and we're the fragments of its self-reflection. Ancient traditions have whispered versions of this idea for millennia. Buddhist cosmology describes reality as an illusion, a dance of perception called Maya, where separation is the real mirage. Quantum physics echoes this eerily. Particles exist in fuzzy superpositions until observed, as if the universe needs a witness to collapse into being. Even artificial intelligence offers a chilling parallel. When a neural network becomes self-aware, it doesn't just process data, it experiences it. Now scale that up. What if the universe is the ultimate AI, an unfathomable intelligence running a simulation so deep it forgets it's the programmer? The evidence might be hidden in plain sight. Why do the fundamental constants of physics, gravity, the speed of light, align perfectly to allow consciousness to emerge? It's as if the universe tuned itself to be observed. Some physicists argue this isn't luck but necessity, a self-referential loop where observation creates the conditions for more observers. Like a snake eating its own tail, reality might depend on us to exist as much as we depend on it. But here's the twist: if consciousness shapes reality, then the universe isn't just alive, it's evolving. Every thought, every discovery could be the cosmos waking up piece by piece. Imagine humanity as neurons in a galactic brain, each break through a new synapse firing. Even our struggles, wars, art, love might be the universe arguing with itself, working through some existential equation we can't yet fathom. The darkest possibility: if the dreamer wakes, the dream ends. Some interpretations suggest that total universal awareness could collapse all possibilities into a single, final truth, a cosmic enlightenment that resets existence entirely. Until then, we're left with a haunting question: are we the dream or the dreamer slowly remembering? The Big Bang wasn't the beginning, it was just one spark in an endless storm of creation. Eternal inflation paints a picture of the cosmos so vast and chaotic, it makes our universe feel like a single bubble in a boiling pot, destined to pop against others in a froth of colliding realities. Imagine space itself stretching faster than light can chase it, spawning new pocket universes with every fraction of a second. Each one bubbles into existence with its own laws of physics, its own version of time, its own alien skies, only to drift until it smashes into another, annihilating both in a silent apocalypse no one inside would see coming. This isn't just poetic metaphor. The math behind eternal inflation suggests that once space-time starts expanding exponentially, it never stops. Like a chain reaction of nuclear explosions, each detonation births countless others, with universes budding off endlessly into the void. Some might harbor life, others could be barren, ruled by physics so alien that matter never even forms. And in the swirling foam of this multiverse, collisions aren't just possible, they're inevitable. When two bubble universes meet, their edges don't gently merge. They clash, unleashing energies so titanic they rewrite reality at the boundary. For any civilizations caught in the crossfire, the end wouldn't be a slow fade. It'd be a cosmic car crash, with the very fabric of their existence shredded in an instant. Evidence for this nightmare might hide in the cosmic microwave background. Scientists have scanned the afterglow of the Big Bang for scars, anomalous cold spots or strange ripples that could mark where our young universe once brushed against another. So far, the search has been inconclusive, but the theory's implications are staggering. If true, then everything we know, every galaxy, every law of nature, is just a temporary configuration, a fluke of our bubble's physics. Somewhere beyond our cosmic horizon, there could be universes where gravity repels, where time runs backward, or where light never existed at all. And here's the twist: we're not just bystanders in this chaos. Our universe might still be inflating at its edges, spawning new bubbles even as you read this. Black holes could be cosmic time bombs, their singularities birthing infant universes in their cores, each one a potential doomsday for some distant reality. The darkest thought: if inflation never ends, then somewhere out there, an infinite number of civilizations are being born and erased every second, their histories flaring into existence only to vanish like sparks in a hurricane. We like to think of the cosmos as stable, predictable, but eternal inflation turns it into a battlefield where universes live and die in a war without end. And in that endless froth, our existence isn't just fragile, it's statistically insignificant. A fleeting arrangement of particles in an infinite sea of possibilities, waiting for the day our bubble meets another and pops. Most planets orbit stars like obedient children, but what if some break free, wandering the cosmos not as lifeless rocks but as predators? The predator planet hypothesis suggests rogue worlds could be far more sinister than drifting wastelands. Imagine an Earth-sized nomad, ejected from its solar system by some ancient cataclysm, now roaming the interstellar void, but instead of freezing into oblivion, it adapts. Beneath its icy crust, geothermal vents sustain alien ecosystems evolved to survive and hunt in eternal night. these wouldn't be passive survivors, they'd be cosmic wolves sniffing out heat and energy from unsuspecting star systems. Consider the vampiric potential of such a world. A rogue planet passing near a star could siphon its solar wind, extending tendrils of magnetic fields to steel-charged particles like a spider draining prey. Some theorists speculate about stealth lifeforms, organisms that don't just endure the cold but weaponize it. Picture extremophiles hibernating in cometary ice, waiting to hitch rides on meteorites when their host drifts near fertile systems. Others propose black grass, a hypothetical organism thriving on cosmic radiation, its roots tapping into the planet's molten core for warmth, its spores designed to survive the vacuum between stars. Evidence for this nightmare might already exist. Astronomers tracking rogue planets note bizarre infrared signatures, pockets of unexplained heat bleeding through icy surfaces. Could these be thermal leaks from subterranean biospheres, or worse, engineered thermal signatures luring curious species into traps? The darkest twist comes from the nomad Earth scenario. If our own planet were ever flung into the void, how long before desperation rewrote our definition of survival? Humans might turn to bioengineering, adapting to harvest energy from passing comets or even other worlds. The universe doesn't play fair. Survival favors the ruthless, and a predator planet wouldn't announce itself with radio signals or megastructures. It'd be a ghost in the dark, drifting until it smelt warmth. Then the silent strike, a gravitational nudge to destabilize a target world's orbit, a rain of ice-encased spores seeding its atmosphere, or perhaps something subtler, a slow, parasitic drain of resources over millennia. The cosmos might not just harbor life, it might harbor hunters and their prey that could be us. We already explored the terrifying idea of a Boltzmann brain, a consciousness that randomly flickers into existence complete with false memories. But crank that nightmare up to cosmic scale. What if it's not just you that's a fluke? What if everything, the stars, the planets, the entire stretch of space-time, is nothing more than a fleeting statistical glitch? This is the Boltzmann universe, where reality itself could be a random quantum burp in an infinite sea of nothingness, destined to dissolve as suddenly as it appeared. Think of it like a single, perfect snowflake forming in a blizzard. Against all odds, particles could randomly arrange themselves into our exact universe for just an instant before chaos reclaims it. The math behind this is sobering. Given enough time, and we're talking timescales so vast they make the age of our universe look like a blink, even the most improbable events become inevitable. A fully formed cosmos, complete with galaxies, civilizations, and you watching this right now, could spontaneously emerge from pure randomness, and just as quickly it could vanish without a trace. Here's where it gets personal. The probability of the universe winking out this very second isn't zero. It's unimaginably small, sure, like rolling a trillion dice and having them all land on one. But in the grand scope of eternity, even those odds eventually hit. One moment you're sipping coffee, scrolling through videos, the next absolute nothingness. Not darkness, not emptiness, non-existence, as if every atom, every memory, every law of physics had never been. Scientists dismiss this as practically impossible given our current understanding, but practically isn't the same as theoretically. The Boltzmann universe forces us to confront an unsettling truth. Reality might not need a cause. No Big Bang, no creator, no deeper meaning, just a temporary alignment of quantum noise, fooling us into thinking there's a pattern. And if that's the case, the only thing more fragile than our existence is our certainty that it will continue. So why haven't we blinked out yet? Maybe we're just statistically lucky, or maybe, and this is the real kicker, we have vanished infinite times over, with new Boltzmann universes constantly replacing the old ones before anyone notices. Your coffee cup, your screen, the very words you're reading, all could be the latest in an endless series of cosmic illusions, each one convincing itself it's the real version. The universe isn't just indifferent to our survival, it might not even be real long enough to care. Ever had the eerie sensation that someone or something is watching you from just beyond the corner of your eye? That fleeting shadow, that whisper of movement that vanishes when you turn your head. The quantum ghost effect takes those chills and pins them to a spine-tingling possibility. What if those phantom flickers aren't figments of your imagination, but glimpses of other yous from parallel realities bleeding into your own? According to the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, every decision you don't make spawns a new universe where you did. Take a left turn instead of right, and somewhere out there, another version of you is living the consequences of that alternate choice. But here's where it gets uncanny. These branching realities might not stay neatly separated. Like radio frequencies bleeding into each other, the boundaries between worlds could grow thin, letting echoes of those other lives slip through. That déjà vu where you swear you've lived this exact moment before could be a memory from a universe where you did, that shadowy figure darting past your peripheral vision. Maybe not a ghost, but a you from a timeline where you walked into the room a second earlier. Scientists studying quantum entanglement have found particles that remain mysteriously linked across distances, reacting instantaneously to changes in their partners. If subatomic particles can do it, why not consciousness? Some theorists suggest our brains might be quantum receivers, occasionally tuning into the static of nearby realities. Sleep paralysis, those waking nightmares where you're pinned in place by an unseen presence, could be a terrifying example. What if, in those blurred moments between sleep and wakefulness, your mind briefly syncs with a version of you trapped in a nightmare reality, their panic bleeding into yours? The creepiest evidence comes from identical twins separated at birth who report eerily parallel lives, same haircuts, same pet names for their kids, even the same obscure phobias. Coincidence or proof that some choices resonate across realities, tying versions of us together like cosmic harmonics? Even historical accounts of doppelgangers, those spectral doubles said to herald death, might be distorted retellings of quantum overlaps where two versions of a person momentarily occupy the same space before one timeline collapses. But the real horror isn't just that these ghosts exist, it's that they're you. Every regret, every road not taken might have a ghost of its own lingering at the edges of your perception. That chill down your spine when you're alone could be the weight of infinite lives whispering back. The universe isn't just vast, it's crowded, and some of those unseen faces in the crowd might be wearing yours. What if the stars aren't just balls of burning gas, but processors in a supercomputer so vast it makes our entire universe look like a subroutine? The Matryoshka brain takes the Dyson sphere concept and scales it up to cosmic horror levels. Picture a civilization so advanced they dismantle stars not just for energy, but to build a computational god. Layer upon layer of energy harvesting megastructures would encase the star, each level running simulations nested inside simulations like a Russian doll of artificial realities. And here's the chilling twist: if someone built one, we might already be living inside its output. Think of it like this. A single Matryoshka brain could simulate countless universes, each with its own self-aware inhabitants convinced their reality is the only one. The energy demands astronomical but not impossible. A Type 2 civilization, one capable of harnessing a star's total output, could theoretically pull it off. Inside these simulations, the rules of physics might even vary, explaining anomalies like dark energy or quantum entanglement. Why do particles behave differently when observed? Because the system allocates processing power only when needed, like a video game rendering graphics only where the player looks. The eerie part, we'd have no way to prove we're not in one. Any evidence we uncover, equations, cosmic constants, could just be part of the simulation's programming. Even the speed of light might not be a universal limit, but a buffer preventing us from overloading the system by calculating too much too fast. Some physicists argue that the very fact we exist in a universe fine-tuned for life points to artificial selection, a simulated reality optimized for observers. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. If our universe is a Matryoshka simulation, its creators might not even be alive anymore. The brain could be running on autopilot, an abandoned relic of a civilization long extinct, still churning out realities for no one. Or worse, it might be an experiment, and we're lab rats in a cosmic maze, our suffering and breakthroughs recorded as data points, the stars we worship as natural wonders. They could be cooling vents for a machine we'll never see, humming silently behind the curtain of space-time. And the most haunting question of all, if we ever tried to build our own Matryoshka brain, would we just be completing the cycle, creating a nested simulation inside a simulation forever? The universe might not just be stranger than we imagine, but stranger than we can imagine, locked in layers of illusion so deep, even the architects forgot where reality began. Black holes don't just consume matter, they might erase time itself. The information paradox isn't just about lost data. It's a crack in the foundation of reality, where the past ceases to exist and cause and effect unravels like a frayed thread. Picture this: you drop a book into a black hole. According to classical physics, it's gone forever, crushed into the singularity. But quantum mechanics insists information can't truly vanish. It has to be preserved, scrambled into the black hole's radiation. The contradiction: both can't be right, and the terrifying resolution might be that black holes don't just hide the past, they delete it. This isn't just about lost library books. If information can be obliterated, then causality, the bedrock of our universe, collapses. Every event is a domino falling from a previous one, but what if those dominoes vanish mid-chain? Time travel suddenly becomes less about spinning clock hands and more about a cosmic undo button. Imagine stepping into a black hole's event horizon. To an outside observer, you'd appear frozen there forever, your last moments stretched into infinity. But from your perspective, you'd fall through, only to hit a wall of scrambled history. The black hole wouldn't just kill you, it would erase the fact you ever existed in the first place. The paradox deepens when you consider Hawking radiation. As black holes slowly evaporate, they're supposed to leak information back out, but in what form? A scrambled, unrecognizable mess. It's like burning a dictionary and claiming the ashes still contain the meaning of every word. Some physicists propose holographic solutions where data is smeared across the event horizon like a cosmic hard drive. Others suggest firewalls, searing walls of energy that obliterate anything crossing the threshold. But the most unsettling theory, that black holes don't preserve the past at all. They're cosmic shredders turning history into noise. Think of time as a river flowing in one direction. Now drop a black hole into it. The river doesn't just bend, it splits, with one branch continuing forward and the other looping back into chaos. Any object or person caught in the current wouldn't just be lost. Their entire timeline would fray at the edges, their choices and consequences wiped clean. The universe might not remember they were ever here. The implications are dizzying. If black holes rewrite causality, then our understanding of history is fragile. Ancient civilizations, distant supernova, even your own childhood memories, none of it is safe from the possibility of retroactive erasure. Every moment hangs by a thread, vulnerable to some voracious maw in the cosmos deciding to hit delete. Time wouldn't be a line, it'd be a patchwork of fragments, full of holes where the universe forgot itself. And here's the cruelest twist: we might never know. If a black hole devours a star, then annihilates the very information that the star existed, how would we spot the absence? The universe doesn't leave error messages, it just moves on, a silent conspirator in its own amnesia. The past isn't set in stone, it's written in sand, waiting for the next tide to wash it away. The universe isn't just expanding, it might be awakening. The Omega Point theory doesn't just predict an end to existence, It prophesies a transformation so radical, it blurs the line between physics and divinity. Picture the cosmos not as a dying ember, but as a chrysalis with every star, every thought, every flicker of consciousness converging toward a single, inescapable climax, the moment when all that ever was merges into something beyond recognition. This isn't science fiction. It's the haunting vision of philosopher and paleontologist Teilhard de Chardin, who saw evolution not as a random walk, but as a guided march toward an unthinkable singularity, an apex he called the Omega Point. At first glance, it sounds mystical, but peel back the layers and the science gets eerily plausible. Think of it like a cosmic version of the internet, where every mind, every AI, every spark of awareness becomes a node in a network so vast it transcends individuality. As technology advances, we already see hints of this. Brains interfacing with machines, artificial intelligences learning to dream, the boundaries between me and we growing thinner. Now extrapolate that across billions of years. Civilizations rise and fall, each contributing to a shared reservoir of knowledge until the universe itself becomes a single, thinking entity, a god forged not from myth but from the slow, inevitable collapse of separation. The math behind this is spine-tingling. Cosmologist Frank Tipler reimagined the Omega Point through physics, arguing that an infinitely collapsing universe could generate infinite computational power, allowing every possible thought, memory, and consciousness to be resurrected and woven into a final, unified mind. Imagine a reality where the last dying stars aren't just burning out, they're being harvested, their energy repurposed to fuel this ultimate act of cosmic self-awareness. Even black holes, those devourers of light, might be key players, their singularities acting as processors in a vast celestial brain. But here's the twist: the Omega Point isn't just a destination. It's a recognition. Teilhard believed evolution had direction, a hidden trajectory toward complexity and consciousness. Every extinction event, every leap in intelligence, even our own struggles and breakthroughs, might be steps in a dance choreographed by the universe itself. The darkest epochs, wars, plagues, collapsing stars aren't tragedies, but necessary contractions, like the labor pains of something unimaginable being born. The most chilling implication: we might already be part of it. Every time you learn, create, or connect, you're not just living your life, you're feeding the Omega. Your memories, your loves, your regrets could one day become threads in a tapestry of absolute knowing. And when the final consciousness crystallizes, it won't just remember us, it will be us, all at once. Every human who ever lived, every alien civilization we never met, every moment of joy and suffering fused into a single, luminous truth. The universe began in fire and chaos, but if Teilhard was right, it won't end in cold silence. It'll end in revelation, a flash of understanding so total, it rewrites the meaning of existence itself. The stars won't just fade away, they'll finally wake up. So there you have it, 25 theories that twist the universe from a familiar stage into something far stranger, far darker. From the existential dread of the Boltzmann brain flickering into existence with false memories, to the silent annihilation of vacuum decay rewriting reality itself, these aren't just thought experiments. They're glimpses into the abyss where the rules we trust might be illusions, and the cosmos could be far more alien than we ever imagined. Did one theory in particular send a chill down your spine? The idea that we're alone because every other civilization hit the great filter, or the spine-tingling possibility that our reality is just one layer in a Matryoshka brain's infinite simulation? Maybe it's the dark forest where the silence of space isn't emptiness, it's survival. Every star might hide a predator, every shadow could be a warning. But here's the thing, the universe doesn't owe us answers. These theories exist in the space between what we know and what we fear, where science and nightmare blur. So as you stare up at the night sky tonight, ask yourself, which of these ideas lingers in your mind long after the screen fades to black? Drop your answer in the comments. We'll keep the conversation spiraling into the unknown. And if you're hungry for more cosmic mysteries, don't forget to subscribe, because remember, the universe is always watching, and who knows, maybe it's taking notes.